I love you guys and gals. Well, if there's no more questions, that about wraps it up. What more can I say? You always have to say the most important thing you're going to say, and that is, I love you, guys and gals. Paul just gave a little bit of he called it what did he call it? A bio. He asked me a little while ago, "Okay, Bob, give me a bio." First, I thought he was doing a colonoscopy or something on me, and he had to do a bio. Then I thought to myself, it sounds like too close to a eulogy. I never had a bio. Biopsy. I have cancer, literally, stage 3, working on 4. Prostate the size of a pineapple, I guess, down there. So I gave him a short bio. And then I found one, and it's a little longer. So you're going to have to wait a little longer to have your roast beef. But it's worth it. My brief bio. Robert Reilly, Philly, the first 34 years, South Jersey, the last 40. So that makes me 74. Actually, I'm going to be 76 next week. Father Judge High School, LaSalle College, a BS before I got drafted, which is a lot of, BS for sure. An MBA in finance and accounting when I come back out of the service. Where I work for some great large companies and some great small companies. And I work for some a-hole large companies and even worse small companies. U.S. Army 68 to 70, Vietnam 69 to 70. Here's something from my, I don't know what they give me at the VA. 2016 PTSD VA diagnosis, service-connected 100%, recovery and healing to present. I'm still here. Bipolar major depressive disorder, permanent 100%, always an AFib. I'm on my 3rd pacemaker, right there. I had a successful bout so far, one with COVID, stage 3, colon cancer, married, 3 children, 7 grandchildren. Whew, make me cry, this family. VVA 899, lifetime member, American Legion Post, Tatum Shields, Collingswood, past president and current president of the Edison High School Friends Association. I'm the president because I'm the only friend in the last 6 years. And we only get 8 to 20 or so alumni. Source of material that I'm going to be talking about today to you heroes. All heroes. Everyone in this room, I counted 60 plates, 4 band members, 1 band wife, 1 bartender, 1 chef, all 68 are heroes. Because the veterans here earned it on the battlefield, and the rest of you that support the veterans earned it at home. In my mind, I should be giving you a standing ovation right here. Every single one of you. Not Citizens Bank Park and not Lincoln Financial Field. They do not deserve a standing ovation and bloody pause. You all do. So I got the material that you're going to hear in my comments from my Vietnam deployment, from the VVA 899, weekly PTSD group breakfasts, 50 Vietnam veterans diagnosed with PTSD, having breakfast together. I maybe made 120 of those in 3-4 years. Edison Friends presidency, my support to the Edison family and current and students and alumni. And then when I travel down through Kensington, I stop at the homeless, Kensington Avenue, in the drug addicted lands of parcels of ground with with water, with pretzels, with socks, with parkas in the wintertime. I wrote a poem. I wrote songs. I connect with the downtrodden souls in the gutters of life all the time. My PTSD recovery and growth. And then I have a separate I Love You program, which really encompasses everything. That means I love you. Everybody knows what the middle finger means, but nobody much knows that it means I love you in sign language. And I give out 6,000 I love you cards on the expressways of Philly, Jersey, on the sidewalks, Federal Street, Logan Square, Camden train station, toll taker. Every place I go, they get a love you card. WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. You know what I mean, right? Yeah. That's the sound of, you could give me the technical term of the rotor and the blades intersecting at different levels of air and breaking the sound barrier, I think. Makes the noise. Whop, whop, whop. Yeah, whop, whop, whop. Might be whop, whop, whop. I might be a little bit different. But let me tell you, when you're in a helicopter mission, every mission you had, every single one, was service, support, and protection for the Allied forces and every citizen of South Vietnam. Your mission was to serve, support, and protect them. And you did not ask, even up to and including today, for anything in return. For 55 years, my wife has served, supported, and protected my 3 children and 7 grandchildren. And she has asked for nothing in return. Ladies and gentlemen, WHOP, 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 and what my wife does is exactly the same. It's also translated, I love you. So WHOP, WHOP, WHOP really means I love you. So every time I say WHOP, 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 I'm going to tell you an example of how I provide love. And you'll see the connection. Because you inspired me. When I got on the Hueys, and sometimes I was able to step off, but sometimes I had a foot in my butt because it was a hot LZ, so I had to get off at 5 feet or 8 feet or whatever. But it was a mission. It was a mission to put me and my artillery unit someplace else where we could reach and protect and serve the soldiers with their boots on the ground. And my arty unit was on a mountain, so we could have the right angles of fire. Whop, whop, whop. So now you know what that means. And I'll make it a little easier because I'm learning a little sign language. So let's make it simpler than whop, whop, whop even, right? I don't even have to say whop, whop, whop. W in sign language is this. Simple, 3 fingers. So if I do 1, if I do 2, if I do 3, that's WWW. That's simply whop, 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 which is I love you. Love. Okay, so now that we're ready to go, whop, whop, whop. You delivered a letter to me on a helicopter to a mountain fire base on your helicopter in a red bag. Bob Reilly. It was a letter from my wife who said, I cannot meet you in Hawaii. I'm pregnant. You were my mailman. And September 25th, you dropped me on another mountain. And you dropped the bulldozer off so we could dig a hole. 3 o'clock in the morning, I was in the hole. We got a call from the Red Cross. We thought it was a fire mission. My best friend, the only other one in the FDC bunker, jumped into 2 foot of water and start getting ready to plot on the map a fire mission. It was the Red Cross informing me that my wife gave birth to a baby boy. Mom's healthy. Bobby's healthy, 8 pounds and some ounces. And you got me there. And you got the bulldozer there. So I was underground and safer than above ground. I gave my friend a Slim Jim. We both ate it. 2 minutes later, he put his head back against the mud wall. People say, "Why, did he give you a big hug?" In 1969, man hugs were not invented yet. After he put his head back on the mud and the radio went silent, I had homesickness as heavy as bricks on my chest. It's getting heavy right now thinking about it, but I put on the transistor radio. Good morning, Vietnam! Got a song coming up for you. Requested by Bob up on a DMZ. He's in Artie. I gotta shout so he can hear me. The song was Homeward Bound. I wish I was homeward bound. Well, folks, 137 days in a wake-up. I was homeward bound. And on the 136th day, I found my brother, who just arrived in Cam Rahn Bay. We had enough time to get a case of beer, Budweiser, and we went on the beach. We drank the case of beer, and we had a choose-up game with a few other soldiers. And then I caught my plane home. When my parents asked me, "How's Mike?" I could tell them with some degree of accuracy and authenticity how he was, because I had a Polaroid picture of him and me in our underwear. He had a bunk bed, with the Air Force at Cam Rahn Bay. So, thank you for delivering that letter. You did, my mailman. The next day, I got a box. Bob Reilly. Okay, I got a box. I got another letter from my wife. The box was a goodie box from my dad. Cheese, sardines, crackers, fruit. Whew, it was beautiful. I even had a popcorn that you pop and the tin foil comes out. I had to go outside though and pop it with the little heat tabs. So I get the letter back later and I shared it with everybody. It was gone in 10 minutes. So I get a letter a few days later from Dad. "Dad, Bob, tell me what you like the best." I said, "Dad, I loved it all, but the GOAT, the greatest of all time item, was the wrappings. It was the Philadelphia Bulletin. We went frickin' nuts. Everybody got a page. And I looked and said, damn, LaSalle basketball, they're kicking NCAA ass, man. Larry Cannon, holy shacks. Wow, somebody else says, give me the comics, This place is depressing. I'll read some. Oh, man, they are funny. Beetle Bailey, what a funny guy. It was great. So, and I said, but, sardines are good. Cheese, everything was perfect. Just send it in a box just the same. But make sure you wrap it with the Philadelphia Bulletin. So what Dad does, Dad's at Frankfurt Arsenal. This box was wrapped so tight, just the way he wrapped M16 ammo. He racked my... It took me 15 minutes to open it up. Double taped, triple taped. I think he started Amazon Prime, FedEx. So I find out what Dad does. I guess I got a little bit of this from him. Let's call it a little energy to make things just and right. He calls the bulletin and says, I want a subscription. And they say, oh, Mr. Reilly. Great. Where should we mail what's the address? You already have a subscription. He says, I want to send it to my son and pay for it myself. And they said, whoops, you got to talk to the boss. He says, I thought that. You sons of bitches. I'll come down. No. Hold on. The general manager wants to get on. Mr. Reilly, where's your son? He said something about an APO number. Isn't that military? Yeah, my son's in Vietnam. I want a subscription. I want the bulletin sent to him every day. And they said, sure. And Dad says, okay. How much of my pension do I got to give you a-holes? And they said, it's free. So next week, I got 5 skinny little cardboard tubes. And that was 5 newspapers. It was the first 5. Even Sundays came a little heavier. The battery went nuts. So I might get 5 and then maybe 2 weeks, because we don't get any mail for 2 weeks because it's fogged in. We get 10. WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. Thank you very much. What you did was send the love from my dad to you, and you were my paper boy for 365 days. And the paper was good for 73 people. 38 Army, 5 Marines, and 30 perimeter guards, U.S. Army. Thank you very much. That's WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. I also, for one of your brothers, from the 158th Assault Helicopter Company, might have been platoon out of Fubai, we had wounded that were bleeding out. 4 attempts in fogged in conditions, medevacs were turned around. They couldn't get through the thick fog. And finally, the 5th one said, I can get in there if I'm going to vector in, and then I'm going to be needed to be brought in by sound. And my FDO brought the medevac in by sound, saved everybody, nobody bled out. He bounced off the ship, 15-foot swell, but recovered and went back. And we never lost a man on that hill. And that was Spider-Man. Eugene Spider-Man Frank, 158th AHP out of Fubai. When I contacted my battery commander in 2013, I said, boy, what kind of metal did you put my FDO? He was on the chopper pad. Well, the helicopter was coming down directly on his head within 5 feet. Spider-Man is can't see anything. It's a whiteout. Eugene Spider-Man Frank, he says, I put everybody in for an award, Valor Award. If you were E4 below, like you, I was E4, you got a Valor Award Archon. Bronze with a V for E5 and over. So everybody got one. I said, well, first off, I didn't get one. He said, I wrote them up. So I went on a search. Took me 4 or 5 years before I got two. I got so frustrated that they threatened to cancel my good conduct medal. Are you crazy? That was the congressman. But 2 congressmen. 2 different ones. One got voted out, so another one came out. I'm even going to bring their name, doesn't matter. So I gave up looking for the medals. They never said, I said, you a-holes, you didn't say yes and you didn't say no. That's all I'm asking for. I didn't say put me in or anybody in. So, whop, whop, whop. For Spider-Man for what he did for us. WHOP, WHOP, WHOP from my LT. WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. What can I do? So what I did, I put my LT in for a silver star. WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. What did I do? I put in Spider-Man for a DFC. And what could I do for the rest of the battery? I put in and wrote up Meritorious Valor Award for every single one. Now I know, because I have the paperwork and the buddy statements, and submitted it to the double congressman and the out in Carlisle someplace, and the Army station in St. Louis where they burn up all the records when they get them. That's probably what happened to the metals back that he's talking about, was burned up. So what I put in, I chased it for 4 years and probably end up going into the same effing incinerator. WHOP, 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 though, they were put in. Not quite the same as an Emmy nomination, but there was a level of pride, I know, because I heard it from my brothers, that someone at least knew what I did. Someone at least gave a shit about what I did and then did something really tangible about it. So for that, WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. Thank you very much, your brother, delivering that. I also come across a brief video, probably 3 to 4 minutes, Joe Galloway, who was embedded in place with the first cav in the first big battle, Ai Triang Valley, Colonel Moore's, immortalized in We Were Soldiers, Mel Gibson. And Joe Galloway, 2-minute speech called God's Own Lunatics. That's what he called helicopter crews. And I say crews because it's just not the pilots. It's the door gunners that are here too. It's the medics that are here too. It's the crew chiefs that are here too. And then of course all of the wives who have lived with the lunatics for the last 55 years. I sent that to a friend of mine, retired General Douglas Satterfield. Multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. He went in, enlisted man, E1, which is private 1, that's how I started. I ended E4. He ended E6, enlisted. But then he went to OCS and he ended up O7, Oscar 7, which is a retired general. I sent him God's Own Little Lunatics. Not little, just God's Own Lunatics. He hadn't seen it before. He published it out to his blogging audience of 250,000. I say to you, WHOP, 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 a way that I love you, how I gave my love to you by sending that, and he sent it out, even though it was God's Own Lunatics from Vietnam. And it didn't have to do with helicopters, pilots, Vietnam, and crews. They're still flying today. Okay? So, thank you very much. I guess the main one significant thing, if I had to tell you how I got this far, how I can be standing here, is because of him who guides me and what he taught me, LOVE. He taught me how to love. Once I learned how to love myself, then of course I can give it away. So I give it away. I've given it away to the lowest forms of humanity that need the help. And for me, as far as what I could find, was homeless in Kensington, drug addicts in Kensington, homeless in Logan Square, Philadelphia, homeless in Camden by the train station, William Rand, and homeless at the old cathedral on Federal Street. And GOAT, I say GOAT, I've unveiled 2 chairs for POW MIAs, 82,000, they ain't home yet. And that's a GOAT. 2 goats, GOAT, and then another GOAT is being inspired. For instance, in the wintertime, every homeless person that I came across in a 2-week period in Philly and Camden that wanted a parka, they got a parka. And many didn't want a parka because they can't apply their daily drug without ripping off the parka. So, but it's all about love. I've given away 6,000 I love you cards. Every time I pay a toll, there's an I love you card with the toll. Every time I meet somebody at a restaurant, on the street, there's an I love you card. I've given out several hundred I love you hats. I love you short sleeve shirts. I love you long sleeve shirts. I love you hoodies, blue and black. State Senator Singleton, my senator, for the first 30 or 40 years, he wore out the hat. I gave him another one. Channel 6 news anchor has a hat and a shirt. You know, she can't wear that, but she said she'd wear it on the beach. Go on a boardwalk down along the shore, and I pass it out. I pass out the hats, the shirts. And then, for instance, last week I was at a PGA event for veterans. Every veteran was invited to get 2 hours of training from a professional at a national golf course. Used to be Sam Barron's, now it's Union League, for 2 hours. And my travel down to Farley Plaza, the housekeeper, I had $5, and then she ordered a hat, shirt, short, long, and a hoodie, and a hug. And then at the service station, Bo Jean, at the service station on the Parkway, did the same thing, ordered it. I ran across the server on the golf course who was just retired from the police force, 25 years Sea Isle. She ordered a hat and a shirt and all, and I always give them the cards, you know, for nothing. And then I put their name on it. Some of them want their name on it. Hey, just put my name on it. Coming back, it was Tony Williams, 8 o'clock at night. Says, put my name on it, Tony Williams, when you're, I love you. Because the solution to stop hate and violence is in our hands, folks. It's that. If you go and put your hand out like that, your finger ain't on the trigger. Okay? It's just not on the trigger. Don't put the finger on the trigger no more. Okay? We need more chilling, less killing. On the way back, my gas pumper, I had the hat. He says, I want that hat. I don't care what it costs, I want it. I said, oh, I got a good price for you today, $0, because I'll be coming by next Thursday. Compliments of the PGA to learn how to putt, which I will not ever learn, how to putt. Miniature golf, I lose to my grandkids ever since they were 2. And my wife, who is a hole-in-one expert. So I came away with 10 orders. 10 hats, black, blue, full set. And I will get the funds. It always comes. And they'll all have them next Thursday, those 10. Now today, I can testify to you The videographer that's videotaping this event here, he has already seen me administer to homeless right on the streets, Spring Garden Street, Grace Presbyterian, 2 blocks away because I went to the wrong church. He already saw me administer in a restaurant where we highly recommend the dessert. And also, we highly recommend the service personnel. And 4 orders, hats, shirts, right? They'll take all of it. And they offered to pay. And guess what? They're not paying any dollars. They're paying really to get a symbol of how do they give away love. WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. That's how I WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. And I guess I'm not making it up, because the videographer spent 2 hours with me doing my ministry. No holds barred. So if you don't believe me, come to Edison next week. And I'll be doing another session. And we will be going to that restaurant for the dessert. And we'll go to another restaurant for the entree. But the homeless, for what we did not eat, it was really a meal for 2. So we really only needed 1. But the homeless might have that with their, apparently, a shrimp dinner, the soup kitchen on 2nd Street, I'm told. I think I'll go there early next week in the morning. And I suspect I will be able to give away some hugs. WHOP, WHOP, WHOP. I love you guys and gals. Goodbye.
For me and you.